This last weekend, I TO'd the ProQuest Season 5 event at Gongaii Games here in Portland, Oregon, USA. 32 players came in hot with a very interesting meta. So I'm going to do a recap of the event in today's cast. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, my flesh and blood friends. Welcome back to Dice Commando and Go Again, a fabulous cast. Thanks for tuning in here. That's right. We're back in the face. I'm finally feeling a lot better. It's been a rough couple of weeks. But yeah, as I mentioned this last Sunday, on the 21st, I TO'd the 32-person event at Gongaii Games here in Portland, Oregon, USA. And it was a doozy. So going to do a recap of that event plus some interesting takes along the way. Now, I do want to get this out of the way out front. I will not be covering deck lists in this. I do not have permission from the players to release them mid-season, and I never do that. I do understand that some of you very dislike it. After the last one, I got some hate mail. I get it. But you don't have to watch, okay? You don't have to watch. So hopefully we'll get some of these folks on for interviews later. That's what I'm looking forward to, especially the spicy-IO list. But let's go ahead and get into this. You already see the slideshow is running. All right, so I just want to put in context the day. So I woke up at 5:15 a.m., ran to the toilet, and threw up. And that's how my day started. So I was able to roll in slightly late to my setup point, but had it all ready to go by 11 o'clock when the doors opened. So there we were, and we were rolling. I also want to give a shout out to Scott. Scott was, he's a level 2 judge within the Portland area. This is the first time him and I have worked together because my normal judge, Phil, was unable to make it. And Scott, great judge. So highly recommended if you're out there and you're thinking about hiring Scott. Highly recommend to do so. We ran a very, very, very efficient tournament. All right, so the day was taken overall by Arthur Mills, Azalea Ace in the Hole. Arthur's been on here a couple of times. His name's been tossed around a lot because he's won skirmishes on Azalea. He's won ProQuest on Azalea. He's top 8'd, top 4'd, blah, 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 blah. Shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that he was shooting arrows. When he walked in, everyone was like, "You're on Azalea, right?" And he's like, "Of course, yeah." That's pretty much how the day went. So that's the winner. So congratulations, Arthur. Again, go ahead and throw up. He unfortunately pulled a bone vizier was his gold foil. So that's kind of a bummer, but still congratulations on the gold foil. We all kind of had to laugh. So I mentioned that it was an interesting meta, and I think that's kind of an understatement. I was very surprised at the absence of a lot of things. So we had 4 Dorintheas, mix of axes and dawn blades. I did not see any sabers. It was just axes and dawn blades. I think it was 3-1, I think. And then I saw a decimator come out at least once walking around. Most people are doing, I think it's a smart move. You sideboard the decimator for like Riptide or something like that. I think it makes a lot of sense. So Dorinthea, 4 of those, 4 Azaleas in the room. Azalea had an amazing rate, skipping ahead, amazing conversion rate, putting 3 in the top 4, and then of course winning the event. 3 Victors in the room. This one surprised me. How low it was. So we have a lot of, old Oldham players in, like Tristan, for example. He's a staple Oldham player. He actually won our Road to Nationals on Victor, just a staple Guardian player. But there's a lot of other folks like that as well. And Victor's he's kind of really like easy to pilot, right? So it seems like a good hero to be on. It's good value. You do what you want to do and then you draw a card. Yeah, seems really good for a 5-round tournament. The other one that blew me away was Max Nitro. So this was largely due to the Team Foundry boys and Anthony Galleran. So they rolled in with Max. And Max won some ProQuests over the weekend, right? If you saw the data, I'll go pull that up in the editing. But pulled down some ProQuests. So they were maybe trying the spice or whatever, obviously didn't top 8. Another thing that surprised me was there was only 2 Kassais in the room. That's surprising. We've got a good warrior contingent here in the Northwest. And then potentially the biggest surprise is less Kayos than I expected. I keep saying biggest surprise. There's also one more surprise. But Kayo, only 2 of them, which was surprising to me. 2 Viserais, not a surprise. In fact, I think that's probably about right and what we'd expect. Billy was on it, of course, as everyone would expect. And then Nathan Jacquart, I believe, was also on it, who's been, I hope that's right, Nathan. I apologize if that's not, but I believe the two of you were on it. You've kind of been Viscerai people forever. So no surprises there. But again, with the spike of the Turtle Burst, or whatever the kids are calling it these days, this last week, Adam Cook's deck doesn't surprise me. 2 Uzris, that seems right on. Rhinar, that seems about right on a 32-person field. 2 Vinsets, fair enough. And then 1 ofs of Levia, Kano, Dash, which actually Dash, I guess, had a 100% conversion rate, so fair enough. Boltyn, Katsu. Only 1 Katsu was a little surprising to me. And then a Betsy. Oh, Betsy also had a 100% conversion rate, the top 8. So there you go, fair enough. The absence from this list that really surprised me was Prism. I was very surprised that we have a lot of Illusionist carryovers, one of them being Justin Salmon, who actually was on Max Nitro. So he didn't show up with Prism, which surprised me. That surprised me that we didn't see a bunch. She seems kind of dumb right now, honestly. So, hey, but you got to play the field, and you gotta rock and roll. All right, so let's fast forward to the top 8. We had Tristan Farmer in. So 32 players, 5 rounds of Swiss, went amazingly smooth. I was absolutely blown away. We completed our rounds of Swiss in 4 hours and 30 minutes. That's right, folks. 5 rounds, 4 hours and 30 minutes. It's pretty impressive. Right, but Tristan finished on 5-0, going undefeated through Swiss. Does not know how to lose a Swiss round in 2024 at Gongaii game competitive events, because he went undefeated in the RTN as well. Adam Hamilton Sutherland on Uzri went 4-1. Sean Elliott, local boy, 4-1. Sadat, excuse me, awesome dude. I love you, Sadat. You're awesome. Azalea, 4-1. Billy, 4-1 on Viscerai. He was playing the big pump that we talked about last week. I'll go ahead and link the video here. And then the surprise of the day, not because of player, just because of the hero, was Dash.io. That surprised me. I didn't expect that coming in. Went 4-1. I'll kind of circle back and explain why I think it happened. Scott Weevil went 3-2. This is his time, right? Scott's been on Azalea forever, as long as I've just always known him as playing Azalea. I don't know that he plays anybody else. It's probably not true, but I just don't know it. So it's great to see him in the top 8. And then Arthur Mills also at 3-2 in the 8 seed, but as we know, winning the tournament. Right, so the top 8 players we have there, going left to right, kind of with the bottom. So we have Adam there with the curly hair on the left. We have Mint there with the smile and the flannel shirt. Arthur, of course, you see in the back. Tristan is down low, holding up I think he got a Betsy. We have Scott there in the middle with the Carhartt shirt on. Sean Elliott also got, he's showing off his Betsy, but that's a young Betsy. We got Billy in the back there with the beard, and then Sadat on the far right. So again, congrats to all of you for your rainbow foil heroes. They're pretty good looking. The Kassai one's pretty hot. All right, so the way the pairing worked was we had Tristan, the 1, versus Arthur, the 8. Sadat and Billy were playing off. That's a really rough match for Billy. Viscerai into Azalea. Sean, Betsy into Dash.io, which normally you would think would probably be hard for Dash, but hey, Dash cut through. And then Adam Hamilton Sutherland on Uzri versus Scott. Right, so moving into the top 4, so Arthur was able to take out Tristan. Very, 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 very close match there. Very tightly played match. I was watching quite a bit of that match. I did not think it was going to go Arthur's way there for a while, but you know what? You put the stuff in the order you need it, and you sling arrows, and well done. All right, Sadat was able to hang on versus Billy, right? Things such as like 14 rune chance with an 11 dominate is a real thing. He was able to hang on and stick Billy when he needed him. Billy was not able to dig and get what he needed. And you know what? That's card games. And Sadat, again, just played patient and put him down. Sean did go down. I did not really see this game, if I'm being honest. So Sean Elliott went down to McCarroll, and then Scott was able to take out Uzri. I think that's probably favored match, but again, it is the 2-7. Right. So then going on to the semis, Arthur against Sadat they were just trading back and forth. and Arthur was able to pull that one out. And then this last one, I watched it end, and it was an unfortunate end. So Mint was kind of on the ropes, and Scott drew an all non-attack hand, and then did kind of the right, kind of blocked out, did the right thing, and then drew another 2 non-attacks. So he ended up with 6 non-attacks in a row, lost momentum, and C'est la vie had to reach across and do the fist pump. So, and then moving into the final, Mint and Arthur fought that out pretty well. It was not a super fast. It didn't take very long, but it was not a super fast game because they were both doing their thoughts and stuff. If I could have counted the overall turns, it wasn't that many turns in the grand scheme of things, right? In the grand scheme of a Flesh and Blood game. I do believe they had hit pitch stack like maybe right as we were getting to it. And probably Arthur had hit pitch stack earlier, right, with the obs. So that's fair. But he was eventually able to just sling that down and kind of ping Mint down. Now, as I mentioned, Arthur takes it down. So what I want to talk about here real quick, what I'll do is there we go. We'll just put the normal rotation back up so you can enjoy some of the pictures from the day. So one of the things I want to talk about is this DIO deck. So one of the cards that did serious work is, and I want to make sure I get the card correct here. Yes, I did have it correct. It is Signal Jammer, right? So what Signal Jammer does, if you aren't familiar with it, it says enters the arena with a steam counter on it at the beginning of your action phase, destroy Signal Jammer if you can't remove one, and each hero, including yourself, cannot play more than one non-attack action card each turn. So what this did, interestingly, was buy Mint a lot of time against these Rangers. He did a very good, I saw several games in which he used that card to his advantage to maybe not regain tempo, but slow tempo back, right? And it worked specifically, again, if I'll throw up the bracket, you've seen it. I think that's what happened here. Again, excellently played. The deck was built and selected perfectly, right? And it just worked out. This card did serious work against the Azaleas not in terms of doing damage, but again, in terms of slowing them down, leaving cards in hand. I saw across the day several occasions in which the Azalea was effectively taking an IP penalty of sorts because they had cards they just couldn't play out of their hand. Arthur was doing some very smart things with, he was kind of playing around it a little bit, doing some very smart things with like E-Strike, Sync, draw a card, right? And stuff like that, so that, making pseudo inefficient plays, but still trying to maximize the value in his hand. And I think that's ultimately what squeezed him through. So that was very, very interesting to watch. The DIO deck, if you've been watching the channel for a while, I think she's good, but I didn't think she was gonna do this well. So I'm really happy to see what happened. So yeah, and so that's the recap overall. I am hoping to get linked up with at least Arthur. Hopefully reach out and see if Mint's interested as well. But I'll reach out through my contacts there, and hopefully I can bring you all the info. So yeah, other than that, again, I want to thank the players. It was unfortunate that we had to cap at 32. We were not able, with the timing, everything kind of came out late, and then by the time we got to Gongaii, they were already full. So we were not able to get the warehouse that day, but that's okay. We had a very strong 32 people, and as I mentioned, the 4 hour 30 minutes for Swiss was really, really fascinating. And Top Cut actually only took about 3 and change hours, right? So obviously significantly slower pace of play, as you would expect in a no-time situation. So anyway, that'll do it for me tonight. Thanks for checking in. If nothing else, folks, go Commando.